Hello, welcome. This is Sports This Morning. We're broadcasting live from Channels TV Sports Center in Lagos, Nigeria. Glad to have you join us. I'm Austin Okonakpan.
It's great to have you join us again. I am Tayo Salah.
Okay, we'll continue our look on the development of table tennis in Nigeria. Tayo, yesterday we had the president of the Nigeria Table Tennis Federation who was speaking about the influence of Quadri Aruna on the sport in the country. This morning, Aruna Quadri, yes, champion with Sporting, his club in Portugal. That's the last time we played for Sporting. But we'll be talking about some of the things Aruna Quadri has done to influence the development of table tennis in Nigeria.
Yeah, it's safe to say Aruna Quadri is a role model for a lot of our upcoming players in the country. We'll be talking a lot more about that on the show. Also on Sport This Morning, this time in the English Premier League, Jose Mourinho recorded his 200th Premier League victory last night as Spurs defeated Everton by a lone goal. Jose has been under pressure. Spurs have been very inconsistent since taking the job. But yesterday against Everton, Everton have been the form team since the Premier League restarted. But Jose and Spurs have found a way to win that game by a lone goal.
Yeah, and take off some pressure, you know, because those are some of the games that you expected them to win. But shout out to Jose Mourinho, 200 English Premier League win is worth celebrating. We'll talk about that more on the program. Also on the show this morning, 2 days. No, that's Werder Bremen. They narrowly edged on the away goals rule in their Bundesliga promotion. So, Tayo, it is safe to say that their status have been retained. They won't be going down.
Lucky Werder Bremen. Lucky Werder Bremen. They're very lucky because the Bundesliga has got a system where even if you end at the bottom, you've got a chance to go do the promotion relegation playoff. And that's the avenue Werder Bremen have taken advantage of. And they will be staying in the Bundesliga for the next season. So congratulations to Werder Bremen. You can see the celebrations at the end of the final whistle.
So that's it. Congratulations, Werder Bremen. Away goes counting for for somebody somewhere in Germany. Good one. Just imagine Werder Bremen out of the German Bundesliga. Top side. Remember back in the day, Osimhen would have ended there when he was just coming out as a top player. We'll come back to that discussion.
Absolutely.
Let's bring it back home now. We're talking about the development of table tennis in Nigeria. We started talking about it yesterday just to find out how the federation is coping with COVID-19. Aruna Quadri, Tayo, is ranked 20th in the world, #1 in Africa. Led his team Sporting to win a remarkable 37th title. That's dominance right there.
Yeah, talk about dominance. 5 in a row now for Sporting CP. Aruna Quadri, of course, playing a very, very crucial role in that victory over the weekend, you have to say. And what more can you say about Quadri?
I know.
I mean, it's been incredible in the last 5-6 years now. It's been very, very consistent and it's been delivering top-notch performances both for Nigeria and for his club side. And he's just a remarkable player, and there's still a lot more to come from this guy because he's still fairly young for a table tennis player.
That's right, and no wonder a top club in Germany.
Of course,
it described the German Bundesliga for table tennis as the toughest and most competitive in Europe. And that's where a top player should be. So he's going to Germany now, new challenge, and he's looking forward to it. But bringing it back home, Tayo, this is what we want from top stars. You use the word like role model to the upcoming generation. You guys spoke to Taiwo Mati the other days in Portugal. It was Quadri's influence.
Really?
Yeah.
There you go.
And that's what we want our top stars to be doing, rub off on the upcoming generation.
Absolutely. Very, very important. If you're a superstar, sports star, automatically by default, you're a role model, you're an influencer. So you have to try and help where you can. It's good to see Quadri. A lot of people didn't even know that about Mati Taiwo. That was Quadri's helped, gotten him to Portugal where he's exposed to things he hasn't seen before. All this while he was in the country. So shout out to Quadri, and hopefully other sports stars in Nigeria can do similar stuff.
That's right. I mean, keep the fire burning. We had the president of the Nigeria Table Tennis Federation, Ishaq Utikon, on this show yesterday, and it took time to also highlight some of the contributions Quadri Aruna has given to the development of table tennis in Nigeria. Let's listen to him.
Marty Tao is in Portugal today, and I give it strictly to Aruna Quadri. You know, we have this thing in table tennis family. The one that have gone forward, look back to the one that is coming behind and try to draw them in. We as a federation have at different times identified clubs. You know, you see, no matter how good you are in Nigeria, except you start participating in a world event, your talent and experience will be, will be limited. So we try to expose them. Abdullahi, the one we call Yaro Yaro, have been cut down. He can't come back to Nigeria because he participated in an Oman, ITTF Oman Open, and he couldn't come back because they locked down the flight. There's no flight for him to come back. And so many other players. We have, young players that are actually trying to be supported. But, you have to do with resources. The funding, actually, because if you want to go out to participate in either Portugal Open, German Open, Hong Kong Open, you all have to do with money. Individual development of table tennis, most of them sometimes reach out to different windows to see how they can source funds to get out. But we as a federation have made it as priority that within our activities in Nigeria, we expose them to play and participate in world events. That is where they're going to meet with the world stars, and that is how their own game will also improve.
So that's it, the president of the NCF. So what's the point? If you're a local champion, you're a local champion. For you to be international, you need to go out there and compete with the best.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the only way, to get to the next level. Coming back to Marty Taiwo.
That's right.
We had him on the show a couple of weeks ago, and he said then that his goal, ambition is to eventually surpass everything Arnold Quadri has achieved in his career. And that's very interesting, considering that, this is just a young star still in his teens and is already looking and aiming that high,
that's right.
For his table tennis career.
That's legacy right there, So he already has targets. Some look at it as that's big dreams, but there's somebody has laid a foundation for Marty Taiwo to dream, and that's what if Marty Taiwo eventually breaks Arnold Quadri's record, the other generation coming after Marty Taiwo, so we keep up in the game.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, then shout out to Bode Abiodun as well. He was a part of the victory and for Sporting as well.
That's right. Shout out to Bode Abiodun. Shout out to Omotayo Olajide. They're all doing their big. Shout out to Edem Ofiong, Olufunke Oshonaike. These guys make us talk about table tennis, all the time, and we really, really appreciate them. Let's get on with the show now. This time, talk about beach volleyball in Nigeria. And we're hoping to get the Nigerian women's team to qualify for the Tokyo Olympics. Then COVID-19 came. The president of the Nigeria Volleyball Federation, Musa Nimrod, is still optimistic. Tayo, he says that, look, COVID-19 or not, whenever they want to play this qualifier, he is 100% certain Nigeria will qualify.
Well, it's good to hear the president sounding very confident.
That's all he can do.
That's all he can do. I mean, you don't want to go into the final round and not believe in your chances of progressing, achieving that historic qualification for the Olympics. I'm just worried that our team, which was in great form, great momentum, had to, not because of the effort or anything like that, but because of COVID, that momentum was halted, and they're gonna have to start all over again. That's why it's very important to know what they've been doing during this lockdown and how fit that they outfit they are, what kind of preparations they've been doing, which is very, very difficult, you have to admit, because no chance to train, facilities are shut down, and all of those things. And that's where the leadership of the volleyball, Beach Volleyball Federation has to come in here and make sure that the team has, everything in place to make them, continue their assaults and trying to qualify for the Olympics.
That's what it is, and they need to do a lot of mental work also. need to psych them, let them know that the mission is still the same.
Right.
Our mission is not yet accomplished. It's just one more hurdle. Last time out for Rio 2016, Nigeria hosted, lost to Egypt in Abuja. The president is saying that we still want to host this final round of qualifiers, and it will be painful if we lose again. That will be back-to-back defeat at home when you've already seen the finish line, but you cannot cross it. So I like the fact that they're keeping the faith. As you said, they must do those things that they need to do in terms of keeping fit, work on the psychology, get their trainers to always be there to talk to them, because it'll be good to have Nigeria feature at the Olympics for this, because that's one way that we can now come back and look at ways we can start developing beach volleyball in the country.
You're spot on, Austin, anyway. So I will continue to definitely monitor that situation, and we'll be giving you all the updates you need to know on the show as regards Nigeria's quest to qualify for the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. That's for beach volleyball. Let's move on with the show from beach volleyball with the show now. And
talk about the development of
curling, which has been affected like every other sport by COVID. Once again, Nigerian curling just a couple of years ago made history by becoming the first African country to qualify for a World Curling Championship. I remember in that competition, TJ and Susanna Cole represented the country and actually won a game. So they didn't just go to participate. They actually ended up winning a game as well. So we'll be going to Paderborn in Germany now, where the president of the Nigeria Curling Federation will be joining us on the show to tell us what's going on with the sport and how they've been coping during these Rona times. Good morning, Daniel Damola. It's great to have you on the show.
Good morning, Tayo and Austin. Nice having me today.
Yeah, it's great to have you. How you doing? What's going on with curling at the moment? Of course, the coronavirus has disrupted, sporting activities across the world.
Well, it has been very, very hectic for everyone, and also the sporting family worldwide. As you guys always report. Basically, you guys are doing a nice job trying to cover us while we are still at home trying to battle this issue called COVID-19. Well, it has affected a lot, basically our own sports, and also our goal to develop the sport in Nigeria, which you could remember in your show. One of my directors was on your show some time ago, Chris Nemeth, to roll out the plans for the year. If you could remember, I think it was Tayo and Cecilia that was anchoring the show. So it has been very, very disturbing news to us here in the curling world.
I know it's not just curling, it's everything sports. Even those sports that we thought that had no contact, they're still suffering. Let's just hope that COVID-19 is defeated. Damola, we're going to keep you. We will come back to the conversation. Let's just go on this quick break. When we come back, Daniel Damola, the president of the Nigeria Curling Federation, will tell us some of the post-COVID-19 plans for the sports. That's when we return. Don't go anywhere. Stay. Welcome back, Sports This Morning. We're broadcasting live from Channels TV Sports Center in Lagos, Nigeria. We're taking a look at the development of curling in Nigeria. Someone said, really? No ice in this country and we have curling? We're being innovative, and that's what it is. Because if you say, oh, we don't have ice, we're not going to do it now.
So, Austin, very interesting that you brought that up. No ice and you're doing curling. That's but guess what? There's going to be ice really soon. They're working on that.
They're working on that. Same thing with the bobsled team. At the time, they were going to the Summer Olympics. Yeah. So, like, really? We're going to do bobsled?
Yeah.
In Nigeria?
But the truth is, if the sport is going to get to the next level, it's going to develop to the next level, there's got to be facility in place to train the local talents that we have. Because at the moment now, it's majorly dominated, the team Nigeria is dominated by Nigerians in diaspora.
That's the only way you can start.
Exactly. But then you need to bring it back home and develop the sport and perhaps put a facility in place. Now, Daniel, a few weeks ago, the story came out that you've actually, started work on developing an ice rink in Calabar. Tell us more about that.
Well, Tayo, that's true. Like you said, and Austin also mentioned that for the game to develop, we had to put a structure in place. And that is why from inception, where we started the Coiling Federation in Nigeria, we had a blueprint that for the sport to, come to stay, we just have to get our roots right. If you could remember when I was on your show, I think in 2018, then I think it's Yemi that asked a question. What will we do to prove the skeptic wrong? I told him that if Nigeria cannot go to the ice country, ice will definitely come to Nigeria to stay. And that's what we are doing. We have already bought a property in Calabar, Cross River State. The property is about 27.366 square meter property, which we started, developing as of now on the first phase by clearing the land. We've done that, and then we are fencing it as we speak. After that, we'll now move to the second phase, the groundbreaking and the rest. We are not just sitting back to, say we are a high sports nation now, just like other high sports. We want to bring high sports to Nigeria and make it stay. And the beautiful thing is that the facility we are developing now is going to serve other African countries, whereby we want to make our country also, we develop the youth to compete favorably when it comes to coiling internationally. We want this sport to compete with the likes of football, basketball, like I earlier mentioned as well some years back in your show. You guys asked me, how is it going to be possible? First, we are starting up with the floor coiling. We're going to be producing floor coiling there in Nigeria, which we've started the groundwork. Then we distribute it to secondary schools, and everyone who wants to play these sports. That will be the level 1 of making sure that every household, everybody, every school, everyone who wants to play coiling have the feeling on that floor coiling. And joining that with the training aid, which one of us developed, Chris Nimet, it was also on your show some time ago. That also will teach them the rudiment of the ice, how you can slide on ice without being on the proper ice. So infusing those together, everyone can know, learn, play coiling, then they will transcend from that into the property that is the arena we are building now. And the unique thing about the arena is this. We're going to have 2 sides of the rings. One is for our dedicated coiling. The other one is for other kind of ice sports, meaning that we want to make Nigeria a capital of ice sports in Africa.
Sounds good. And huge dreams you've got, Damola. When you say you want curling to be as football in Nigeria, that's a lot of hard work you need to put in there. But tell me first, how can you spark interest? What is it about curling that will make somebody say, oh, they want to pick up the stick and get into the ring and start doing curling? What is it about curling as a sport?
Curling as a sport gives you joy. Just the mere feeling on being on ice alone, you experience a kind of, joy you've never seen before. And that's why if you look at the totality of coiling sport, it is recommended for so many kind of healing, like the children with the autismus and the rest. If they play coiling, definitely to pull them out of those kind of situation they are in. So coiling is very unique on its own. When you talk about the medical benefit of coiling, now coming to the entertainment aspect. Have you ever seen somebody going through the narrow way to take out a stone? I bet you would like to see that. Go watch it and you see that. Now, making it a household sport in Nigeria to compete with football, just like I've said now. I think you saw the last clinicals we did in Nigeria. The kids were just asking for us to keep coming, please. You understand? That is why we took it upon ourselves to say we will start producing those floor coiling to distribute to school. Again, just like in this particular situation, the whole world is finding themselves. You take your floor coiling at home, you can play with your kids. So I think the sport is very unique on its own. Very, very unique.
Indeed,
and
it
we
is.
are working towards that as well. We are going to the Olympics soon. We are on our path to the Olympics.
Yeah. I love the plans. I love everything you put in place. But first we must beat COVID-19. And that's why I wanted to ask him what are the plans post-COVID-19 to keep the sport relevant.
Very important. And he mentioned going to the Olympics as well. So obviously they'll be trying to qualify for the Olympics.
That's right. So Damola, post-COVID-19 plans for curling.
Of course, Tayo and Austin, our post-COVID-19 plan, we have 3 championships coming up now, apart from the facility we are developing. We have one in Scotland, that's for the mixed 4. We have the second one in Wakkanai, Japan, both the male team and the female team. The good news about this is that our female-grown home team are going to be participating in the championship in Wakkanai, Japan. I think initially we had 3. We had to up the game with one that's going to be a reserve. We have Ibizo Wamat, we have Alimat Buhari, we have Aniobu Amarachi, and Deborah Alemeton, who are the 4 home-based team groomed from Nigerian soil that will be stepping on ice for the first time. And these are the kind of things we want to do, projecting the home fronts, then transcending them into the international stage. And aside from this championship in Wakkanai, Japan, we also have one coming up in Istanbul, Turkey for the mixed 2. The favorite, you all know, TJ Cole and Susie Cole are going to also continue on the quest in acquiring points towards our dream of Winter Olympic 2022. So our post-COVID plan are very, very packed up.
Thank you so much, Damola Daniel. I love the vibes you're giving as regards curling. All the best. Stay focused. Keep winning. We'll continue to monitor your progress. Thank you.
Thank you, guys, and stay safe. And Nigerians, we love you.
Thank you. We love you too, and stay safe too. So
it speaks a lot of passion.
That's all you need to
passion,
win.
Passion for football. I understand. Passion for basketball. As a Nigerian, curling, it's very interesting.
It's rare. It's rare, and that's the difference right there. So let's see. As Susie and Tijani got us talking about the sport, and I remember then, Tayo, we were like, really? Yeah. Now look at how far they're taking it. They've already got the property in Calabar. They're going to put ice rings there. I love what he said. I said, if we are not going to have ice will come to us.
Exactly, and that's what they're doing. So, it'll be very interesting to see where the sport goes eventually. We need to go on a very short break now.
Welcome back, Sports This Morning on Channels Television. Don't forget you can be part of the conversation on Twitter, Channels_Sports. And we've just opened a thread as regards the development of curling in Nigeria. Tayo is struggling to understand the passion that Damola Daniel is using to lead the charge. We might just join him and be part of nation building. Someday, Nigeria might just win a major curling championship. Everybody will start talking about it. That's how to start. He has taken the steps. Let's follow on Twitter, Channels_Sports. Let's welcome Bada Akintunde Johnson. Joins us now. Last time, traffic didn't let him make it to the studio, but we went to him with technology. Bada, it's good to have you on the program.
Always a pleasure to be here, Austin. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
It's great to have you, Bada. Let's just cut to the chase. The Premier League.
That's what it is.
Getting us talking this morning. Just one game played last night between Tottenham and Everton. Match was played at the Tottenham Stadium, and that lone goal victory for Spurs. Michael Keane, the unfortunate player, to score a known goal in that one. But that was enough to get all 3 points for Jose Mourinho.
Some respite for him. He's been under tremendous pressure based off how disappointing Tottenham's season has been. When he took over from Mauricio Pochettino, there were high hopes that based on his experience and his track record, he should be able to get Tottenham firing again. This was a team that played in the finals of the UEFA Champions League last season. But their season hasn't exactly inspired hope or confidence. They are actually 19 points. Before that game, they were 19 points worse off than they were at this stage last season. So that win was much needed. It was scrappy, it was scruffy. It wasn't a very exciting game to watch. But at the end of the day, it was the 3 points that mattered for Tottenham. And, you know, it came, like you said, in fortuitous circumstances, you know, a Lo Celso shot bouncing off Michael Keane and bouncing into the net. It was a game of few chances. What really worried me from a Nigerian standpoint is the sort of way Everton played. And by the way, that was Everton's first loss since Project Restart. I didn't see Alex Iwobi get on the ball as much as he normally would whilst he played at Arsenal. That attacking verve, that, you know, eye for the pass, that ability to take on defenders. There were, in the last 2 seasons at Arsenal, Alex Iwobi was known as the king of nutmegs because he would take on people and beat them. He's not doing any of those at Everton, and that worries me. That's one of our key players in the national team. I mean, due respect to Ancelotti, he's an Italian manager, great experience, great repute, and he has his ways he wants to play, especially because his resources at Everton are quite limited compared to the other clubs that he's managed. But I'm just worried about the impact of the way Everton plays on Alex Iwobi and his attacking abilities.
Particularly that he's not as daring.
That's what he's saying.
He's not taking the initiatives. He's not allowed to. I mean, they're very pragmatic in the way that... I think that the Everton style is a lot pragmatic. The midfield players, Sigurdsson himself, are supposed to get the ball to the guys up front as quickly as possible. It takes one touch, he gets rid of it. Takes one touch, gets rid of it. But whilst it was at Arsenal, he was given the mandate to take on players and beat them. And you know, that inspires a lot of confidence. That allows you to use your creativity on a regular basis. And he's not doing that right now.
Interesting. Talking about players, there was a bit of handbags going on after 45 minutes between Hugo Lloris and Heung-min Son. Are you worried for which one are you worried for?
They made up afterwards. You saw them embrace after the match. But the positive spin that Mourinho put on it was that it was just good at halftime to see that the players didn't have to wait for the manager to point out what the problems were. Hugo Lloris was given the player the stick for not closing down a man. He was abandoning his defensive responsibilities, even though he was an attacking midfielder. You know, and at the end of the day, they say all is well that ends well. They got the 3 points, so they kissed and made up at the end of the day.
And goalkeepers are allowed to do that.
Captain
Remember George Campos? He will even go push his players. Chilavert did the same thing.
And every team needs that sort of leadership. Hugo Lloris is the French national team captain. He's one of the most experienced heads in world football. So if there's a player who can put you right, that's the man. That's the man right there.
Before we leave Spurs and Everton, quickly, Jose 200th Premier League win. Just the 5th manager to reach that milestone. And is the 2nd fastest to get there after Sir Alex Ferguson.
No doubt, it hasn't been the same Jose in recent years, but you can't take his record away from him. He's one of the greatest managers to have managed in this league. He's won multiple Premier League titles. And the records bear him, you know, witness to the greatness that is achieved. 200 wins is no mean feat in one of the toughest leagues, if not the toughest league in the world.
Particularly this season. So congratulations, Jose Mourinho. When Bada said something about it being a boring game, but it's important that Tottenham got off 3 points. Made me remember when he was in Manchester United and a reporter said, Jose, do you think it was a boring game? He said, I have on my notepad that we won.
That's what's most important.
Play to win. Let's move on to matches that we played today. Austin,
important games.
Important games, especially for Chelsea, because United are right behind them and hoping that they slip up somewhere. And they'll be going to Palace later tonight. Chelsea Palace. That's a very tricky game. Watford, Norwich, and Arsenal, Leicester.
That's a potential banana skin, like you quite rightly said. Away at Palace, Roy Hodgson has forged a team that's got the mental fortitude. That's why you worry for them. Of course, they just lost to West Ham against Crystal Palace. If they don't get on their A game, they may not get anything out of that game. And more worrying is the fact that N'Golo Kante might not be playing in that one.
No, tough one. Big games in the English Premier League. All of the games, there's something in it for each of the teams. So the guys believe that Chelsea is important. Arsenal, they need to win that one also against Leicester to keep their momentum going. The game doesn't mean anything to Norwich, but it means so much to Watford. When we come back, we'll talk about those other games. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us. So Chelsea fans, let's have a conversation this morning. Bada says it's going to be a very tough one against Crystal Palace. No Kante, some other players are missing. No Tomori. So what do you think? Can Chelsea still go to Crystal Palace and win? Talk to us on Twitter channels _sports. So yeah, that's what it is. Big game for Arsenal against Leicester. If they beat Leicester, they will be proving a point because they get tied with Wolves, and then from there, I think we can take a second look at Mikel Arteta and his mission at the Gunners.
Yeah, you look at the Mikel Arteta project, if I can call it that, and, you know, you feel the jury's still out. On some days, the Arsenal team looks really good. On some other days, like against Brighton, when they lost, I mean, surprisingly, it looks like what's really going on here. But you can't deny the fact that over the last 4 games, they seem to be doing something right. They've won 4 straight games. They've won 3 away games. They won at Sheffield, they won at Wolves, they won at Southampton. Those are trips that Arsenal...
You just take your eyes off and say, what's the score?
Nailed on to lose. Nailed on to lose. But key again is that Arsenal's leaky defense seems to have been fixed. They haven't conceded in 3 consecutive league games for the first time in years. So what he's done now is playing 3 centre halves and he's playing 2 wing backs. And so when they're defending, they've got 5. But when they're bombing forward and they lose the ball, they have the security of an extra centre back, which doesn't expose David Luiz unnecessarily. So I think it's taken a lot of learning from that game against City, where you know the centre backs were unduly exposed and they were punished for it. So the solidity has formed the base of Arsenal's play, and that's why they beat Wolves. Because if they can stay compact and prevent the opposition from scoring, Arsenal has the attacking capacity to score goals against any team. And that's why I believe that they have a big chance against Leicester today playing at home. They'll play with a bit of freedom. Leicester take away the last win. Since the restart, they haven't been the old Leicester.
I agree.
So we don't know what Leicester shows up today. But I think that my money will be on Arsenal just because they're in a rich vein of form. And Arteta has tweaked the system to mean that Leicester will have to do more than just play the long ball to Jamie Vardy, hoping that he runs behind the defense. There will be no behind the defense because there will be 3 central defenders who will be playing very deep.
And that's now, they've perfected choking that middle now. And if they are winning the ball in the middle, you just mentioned they're good with the attack. That's what happened against Wolves. The goal that Lacazette scored came in, they won the ball in the middle, touch, and then
even the first goal, you look at the transition, the way they picked the ball up very quickly, Cedric Suarez, up to Aubameyang, out to Tierney, across, and Saka was there. Goal. So Arsenal have that attacking prowess and they can hurt any team.
And that's what I was asking, where was Arsenal all season if they can play sort of football? And this Leicester win will be important for them because up next is Spurs.
So if they win and Wolves lose their next game, they'll be tied on points with Wolves. A couple of weeks ago, no one saw that coming. They were 11th. They were 11th. Now they have slim hopes of still making the UEFA Champions League. And they have the fortune again of having to play their direct rivals. They played Wolves, they're playing Spurs, they're playing Leicester. So take points off those teams and see what happens from there.
All right, let's start with Sports and Life. That's our first paper. A lot of very interesting stories. Of course, Victor Osimhen is still in the news. Osimhen keeps Napoli waiting. This has been speculated for the last couple of weeks now. I'll get Bada's thoughts on it. Ballon d'Or 2020 power rankings. Lewandowski's skill #1. Has to be. West Ham joint race for John Mikel Obi. Victor Moses could return for Inter against Verona. Suffered an injury a couple of days ago. Mandzukic dumps Qatari club. Which one? Okay, let's talk about Osimhen and perhaps Mikel.
Osimhen because of its significance to us. And I've said it before on this show. I do hope for the sake of the guy's footballing career and his upward trajectory,
progression,
that he goes to Napoli because of the kind of football Napoli plays. They would supply him more than enough ammunition to become one of the the best marksmen in the game if he goes there. It's not about going to a big club just so that you have that name. It's about going to a place where you have an opportunity to play top quality football and play in top competitions like the UEFA Champions League. Napoli will qualify more often than not for that competition, and they will play well. They will go far. You have all the Marek Hamšiks, Lorenzo Insignes, Jose Callejon, and all those players who will play off him and ensure that there's a steady supply of, chances. They create chance after chance. Last weekend when I watched them against Roma, I mean, I'm like, this team was tailor-made for Osimhen. Wow. It's the kind of team where he goes straight the middle and he just tucks away those chances.
Let's just hope that they give him a chance to play. That's it. Before we wrap up, let's just take two tweets and then we'll wrap up the show. Eswabom Jonathan said, guys, calm down. Chelsea will win 2-0. Chelsea fan. And on Colin, we're going for Wara Bosun says, just wondering how feasible it will be to have Colin established in Nigeria with its requirements and most importantly, power supply. I think we are better off using facilities in Europe and focus on developing what we can easily manage. Wow. It's okay. Thank you so much, Bada, for stopping by. Always a delight to have you. Thank you, Tayo. You laugh about Colin.
Oh, we got to go now. Many thanks for joining us again. I am Tayo Salam.
Okay, let's do this again tomorrow for the team. I'm Austin Okonakpan. In everything you do, remember, keep talking sports. Bye for now.